Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths. Let's build! It's been quite a long time since we've done one of these, and we're building a laser jet fighter because I felt like it. And I have a peculiar obsession, well I guess it's not that peculiar because the very concept is actually kind of rad if you think about it, just a jet fighter with lasers. It's like, you know, the kind of thing that like, when you're a young person half paying attention in math class, you'll just doodle that in your workbook and then get in trouble. But anyway, I have a particular obsession with laser jet fighters because the more I play, well, laser jet fighters I should say, because the more I play From the Depths, the more convinced I am that lasers are, missiles are pretty terrible at an anti-aircraft role when it comes to shooting down things which are small and fast and evasive and stuff like that, which is unfortunate. So, we're going to start off this Let's Build post-commentary type thing. If you haven't seen one of these before, this is pre-recorded footage, sped up to ×2 speed, and you get to see what I'm up to, see what I'm building, and I get to just waffle over the top of it. Delicious waffle. And so, two things immediately, before I get onto the missile rant. It's not much of a rant, just more of an observation, really. You'll notice that I'm basically building a canoe. I have recently discovered that I love building aircraft, which is basically, you know, just it's a canoe with wings on it. And that might be surprising to some people. It's like, BorderWise, aren't you the canoe dude? The canoed, if you were? That sounded much better in my head. But anyway, like, not really. Like, usually when I've tried to build planes, they've been like, I've tried to go for quite a plane type shape. But recently I've like found that my brain just works better and is like more motivated to keep going when it's in a canoe shape, which is simultaneously, well, no, it's not surprising at all. Let's be honest. Let's be fair. So yeah, we're just making some fins on the back here. I really like building, as it turns out, like this kind of swept back, very, very angled wings and fins type of thing. And the great thing about this build is that I spend quite some time working on the wings, getting the right sequence of like wedge corners and stuff like that. And then I build custom jet strike to them and basically undo all that good work. So if you're wondering why I speed this up in post, that's why. It's because of stuff like that. Anyway, so talking about missiles and how missiles generally are kind of terrible in From the Depths for shooting down like jet fighters and stuff like that. I basically want to dare everyone watching this to try and build a nice, reliable missile that can shoot down a flying squirrel like first shot every time. Because I've been trying that for a while, and maybe I'm just doing it wrong, maybe I'm just going about it the wrong way, but it's really hard, like, because it's just like From the Depths missiles just do not work like real life ones in many ways. They're nowhere near as fast as real life missiles. I don't think they're anywhere as maneuverable as real life missiles. And most importantly, real-life anti-aircraft missiles, be they launched from air or from the ground, they don't hit the target per se, usually. Unless it's like a shoulder-launched man-pad or something like that. Those might do it, I'm not sure. Do let me know if I'm wrong on that. Basically, they have a proximity fuse on them, and they explode when they get close, and they just basically spray shrapnel all over the place, and they just shred the thing, like, yeah, and that's how you bring down a plane. I once knew somebody who was, was part of the ground crew in the Singaporean Air Force, as it turns out, and his job was actually involving SAM sites, so surface-to-air missile launches, and like the radius on those things, according to him, is around 60 meters, so they don't really have to get that close before they explode and, like, you know, tear a jet to pieces. And From the Depths used to have proximity fuses in missiles. That was removed, but I'm starting to wonder that it might be kind of cool if they were added back in. Like, I'm saying this, like, Plasma is literally days away at the time of recording. Who knows when this video is actually going up, but possibly by the time you're watching this, Plasma weapons have already been, are already in alpha test, in which case, I hope you're having fun with them. I'm certainly going to. But yeah, so it would be nice if, like, missiles, you know, could have an option where, like, there's a slider for high explosive, basically, you know, basically area of effect versus damage, so you can basically make a flak missile, so to speak. Or maybe it's just HE damage versus armor piercing versus radius, something like that. And also proximity fuses again, because there's something rather, I don't know, it just feels kind of weird that you can't make a decent anti-aircraft missile in this game. And sure, people are gonna, like, almost certainly, check the comments, people are gonna be describing exactly how to do that. So again, maybe I've just been thinking about it the wrong way. Part of the problem is that a decent anti-aircraft missile has so many fins on it, just for maneuverability, that the thing has lousy range. So it's just, there's a lot of compromises when designing a missile in From the Depths. Like between its firepower, its speed, its maneuverability, whether you have enough room for a signal processor and stuff like that. So yeah. Alright, so that's basically the missile rant over. Like, proximity fuses would be nice, please, but if it never happens, alright, we'll just have to learn to live with it. Lasers are fun in the meantime, though, and hence Laser Jet Fighter. I spend way too much time mucking about with these custom jets, and, like, really, I should have built the custom jets first, like, building the craft actually from the inside out, herp derp, like what you're supposed to, but no, I wanted to put a nice wing in there. And as you can see, I'm obsessing at the moment over, like, getting the freaking, like, beams all lined up the way I want them to, which is not the best use of time, I'd say. So, right there, I'm moving the entire wing forward just to make it, like, you know, just make it good, so to speak. And dear. Oh, dearie, dearie me. So, BorderWise, what are you doing? Right, what are you doing, BorderWise? You gotta think. Use your brain. Right, so the rear end of these custom jets actually look really kind of weird because I use transition blocks and stuff like that. And honestly, I could have saved myself so much time and effort just by, I don't know, just by building it differently. But that's how it goes when you're building, and particularly when you're building while the recording clock is going tick, tick, tick. You don't have a lot of time just to sit and stare at it and think about it, which is one of the things you should do From the Depths. Is sometimes it's like, hold your horses, think about what you're doing, think about the ramifications of your actions. And that's me checking that I've got my custom jet all lined up. Yes, it is. And so one of the reasons that I have a particular interest in making a laser-armed aircraft is that thanks to jet generators, it's pretty easy to power a laser on an aircraft now. In fact, jet generators are so efficient that, like, arguably, it's like one of the best ways to power a laser, because it's, like, very power dense. It's like you get exactly the power you see displayed, unlike fuel engines and steam engines. I really got to work on steam engines more. That's something that I'm constantly thinking about. That's the problem. I'm not constantly thinking about it. I'm thinking, like, every so often, I'm like, damn it, I don't know how to steam. And then I carry on with my life and build a canoe or something, and then I'm like, later I remember again, oh damn it, I need to learn how to steam. And then I don't steam. And that's bad, I guess. I'm getting better at steam, though. I'm understanding it very slowly. I'm a slow learner sometimes. It's shocking, I know. It took me a long time. Basically, every system in From the Depths I know well, so aircraft, advanced cannons, lasers, particle cannons, stuff like that. It took me a long time. And it's like a kind of weird process where you just kind of, you muck around with it, you don't get anywhere, and then you leave it for ages and just take a break from it, then come back, and then suddenly it's like, oh wait, I get it. So that's been happening, like, in bits and pieces for Steam, and yeah, I'm not sure if, like, a Steam tutorial is something that anyone is desperate for at this point. Maybe, I don't know. There are already Steam tutorials available on YouTube. I don't remember how good they are. Like, I've watched, what was it? I've watched at least 2. I didn't find them incredibly helpful, but that's partially because, like, I just seem to have no aptitude for Steam whatsoever. I just have to, I just don't get it, man. I understand that recycling Steam is good, but what each number means is a bit of a mystery to me. Which is interesting, because From the Depths is weird like that. It's like, sometimes, some people just gravitate towards Steam and they just get it. And other people, like me, actually, like, have no idea how to Steam whatsoever. But fuel engines are something we get a decent grasp of, even though that took me a long time as well. And, yeah, so it's like, broadly speaking, you have, like, fuel engine specialist and Steam specialist, and then you get the rare kind of mutant superhuman who is competent at both. Just joking. If you're competent in both, you are not a mutant. You are wonderful. You are a mystery to me, but, you know, mysteries are wonderful sometimes. So anyway, like, you might notice there's not a hell of a lot of room in here. I wanted this thing to be nice and small and compact as much as possible, and that is the opposite of what you want for lasers. So yeah, like, also, compact armor. If you want really compact armor, like, heavy armor beam slopes are your best friend, and this might be one of the weirdest and probably not very good AI compartments I've ever made in my life. Just, like, don't put your AI on heavy armor. I'm not sure what I was thinking here. That is just an EMP hotspot. EMP loves running along heavy armor and cooking anything that is touching it, so not smart at all. In fact, I do replace this later. And you can tell this is a arguably not the most efficient craft design, because if you shrink all the structural blocks and the thing all but vanishes, that means it hasn't got a lot of other stuff in it, so to speak. Empty space is useful, but not for something like a jet fighter. And it's me... What is me doing? Alright, so this is where I'm kind of trying to figure out, like, where the lasers actually go. And there's a bit of mucking around here. This is not the first laser fighter I've built, by the way. I have built others. I've built a few prototypes. And I do seem to recall I did a live stream once where I built a jet fighter armed with lasers. It's called the Karoro. So, let me just see. Did I do that? Am I, like, is my mind playing tricks on me? Actually, just out of curiosity, I want to see if it comes up. If I just search on YouTube, From the Depths laser jet fighter. From the Depths laser jet fighter. Wow, no one's looking this. Oh, come on, guys, you gotta look up. Wow, well, bravo, YouTube. The first thing that comes up is a tutorial by Gmodism, which is great for Gmodism, I get. And then the next thing that comes up is one of my videos, which is a cram jet fighter, which is kind of daft. Oh dear. Oh dearie dearie me. Wow. This is something I've noticed with the YouTube search function. It's really bad, actually. Like, not to try and encourage you guys to, like, go find more of my videos, although that would be nice. Try looking up From the Depths Walker tutorial, or From the Depths Walker guide. I've made more than one of those, and none of them pop up the last time I searched for it. Walker guide, and... okay, no, there's one. You get the simple Walker guide from moi, and not the other one. Oh dear. Oh well. And you know what's really ironic is that the YouTube search function is really bad, and like, it's Google that owns YouTube, so you really gotta wonder what the hell's going on there. What's happening on screen now? I believe laser combiners have been put in. This is what I gotta pay attention during my own Let's Builds, because now I don't know what's going on. I forgot. Where are we? Where are we? Why are we? Oh sure, more like really conductive materials, BorderWise. That's smart. This thing is going to be so vulnerable to EMP the way it is now. Thankfully, I do change that a little bit. And spoiler alert, I'm not entirely happy with the end result of this. But if you're following along with this, you kind of like... I do most things, you know, alright. I do most of things kind of well. And, just not the laser. The laser, just make the laser section bigger, for crying out loud. The laser section is tiny. And it occurred to me only after I was done recording this that I could shuffle the internals around a little bit and make the laser much, much, much bigger, which is really something that really needs to happen, because this thing is just, it's too small. It has not enough power. Also the fact that it's got 2 combiners running off one laser system, that's usually not worth it. And so I might just, I want to go back and change this so that it's better, because I like this thing. I have no idea. I do actually end up... I do end up calling this something. Like, I don't remember what. But yeah, we'll see in the video, because I do save it under that name. Usually I ask for name suggestions, and if anyone has a better name suggestion than what I came up with, feel free to, you know, sing out in the comment section, because that'll be lovely. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm coughing. I'm not dying. I hope. So yeah, this is a tiny, pathetic laser system, as you can see. And now we're putting some bread in here, because my goodness, bread is fantastic. And I'm remembering that I do have to name these things, so... Honestly, like, Breadboard is a brilliant example of one of those things is like... It seemed impossible until a critical moment where you're just like, oh, right, I get it. Oh, yeah, there's the detection. I built that. And, yeah, oh my goodness, that's really playing with fire here, aren't I? But yeah, what was I saying? What was I saying? So, oh yeah, bread. So, I only really know how to do anything with bread because of a live stream I did where chat was very helpful, and that was basically it. So I need to do that more. I think I've done that with Steam before. I do not remember anything I've learned from that. Well, I mean, kind of, sort of, like, I don't know. Like, it helps that, like, Steam and engines and that kind of stuff, like, a good laser system you can kind of tell by looking, because, well, it, you know, it cooks things, as lasers tend to do. And the same with a good cram, a good APS. You can tell when something is better than what you've been doing, because it gets better results. And those results are visible. And this is me, by the way, trying to figure out what kind of mimic to stick in there. I don't think I end up going with anything. Yeah, I don't. I just have that. I have those wedges, because wedges are delicious. And then I look back at the crimes I've done at the back of those jets, and then I just carry on and continue messing with the breadboard instead. So, what are you doing? Gotta name the things correctly. If you do not do that, that's bad. Damn it, I think I've been... Ugh. Oh dear. Oh no, I'm dying. Ugh. Alright, so this is the fun part where you just gotta remember to... You gotta remember to check all your bread. This is the problem with trying to build quickly, is that you just, you know, you make a bit of a wally of yourself, and that's me wiggling stuff just to make sure that everything is correct. And this is me just messing with the firing angle of these, not that it actually matters in the least. And we're actually going to start messing around with behaviors. So, by the way, the best way I've found to make any kind of laser jet fighter thing is like to stick a turret on it, for crying out loud. The best air superiority anything I've made so far, and I've made more than one, are essentially just small canoes with APS turrets on them. And they do the job, like, pound for pound, much better than I think any kind of missile-armed thing would be. And And let me see here. As you can tell, the laser's not doing much damage. I do redo it multiple times. And also... yeah, also like... what else were we talking about? So... I need to muck around with the front of this. This is one of the reasons why, like, having two lasers on the front is, like... two combiners, rather, is kind of not smart. Because, you know, they make a bit of a mess. Also, I'm always scared that this thing is just going to collide with whatever it's trying to shoot. But yeah, I haven't given up on this thing yet. Like, after I'm done recording this, I'm going to mess around with it some more. And if anyone has any suggestions with how to make this better, I'm listening. And... and one of the problems with doing lasers like this is that, yeah, just like if you make it too long, their firing arc is not very good, so you have to basically sacrifice range on the thing if you're going to have a fixed hull-mounted laser. And as you can see, this thing is currently struggling to take out a duster because the stability is absolutely terrible, which means it's very inaccurate. But it's firing, so that's nice. Also, the detection is probably not great, so I need to fix that as well. That's another problem with having any kind of APS or, that is the advantage of anything, of a jet fighter that uses, missiles rather than guns or lasers. It doesn't need detection, and you don't really need to worry about detection settings. You just need to make a good missile. And, like, if you can't make a good missile, just spam lots of them. So, yeah, that's basically what, honestly, if you want to make a good jet fighter, just like, you know, reverse engineer the Steel Strider's jet fighters because they're really good. Right, so this is me reinventing the laser system, hopefully in a way that makes it better. I'm not even sure anymore. So yeah, we're going to be redoing the internals of this. And we've fallen into the ocean. Sometimes that happens if you're dealing with something that's, whatchamacallit, that's moving while you're building on it. If you suddenly remove blocks, it changes the weight and the craft gets confused. Much like it would if it was damaged. So that's doing that stuff, and I believe, yeah, that's my genius move, is compromise the hull on top to make the laser charge faster. So that, weirdly enough, I think it is better than what we had before. But that's not saying much. It certainly fires faster. What we really need is a nice 4Q laser. Or 3Q. 3Q will do. And that's actually going alright. And this craft is aiming for hot blocks, by the way. I believe I set that up in the AI by this point. I was too busy friggin' looking at things, looking up From the Depths videos on YouTube, rather than, you know, rather than, like, looking at my own footage. What a hypocrite I am. Here I am expecting you to be watching this, and I'm not watching it. Except I am now. Like, you know... Shut up, me. Alright, so... Can we shoot down a flying squirrel is the question. And... the answer is actually yes, we are managing it. But that laser is so inaccurate, and that's just because of the stability. The thing... yeah, it's a problem with sticking lasers on a thing that moves fast and erratically. And also, that laser is just not strong enough. Come on, you need to be stronger. Ideally, like, you should have a laser that, for every pulse, it can take out one metal beam. So at least 40 AP and, like, 1680 damage. Even though in practice, you probably want more than that because of, like, you know, damage decreasing the distance and that kind of thing. And let's see here... this is just me extending the laser. What are you doing? Oh, right, I remember what I'm doing. I'm just going to put a whole bunch of destabilizers on it. And hopefully that works because it charges quite nicely. And I think this is an improvement. And also allows it means it's kind of a burst laser. As it drives away, it recharges. And not really, by the looks of it. Also, I would like to point out that this thing is managing to dodge missiles, and it has basically no active defenses at all apart from just speed and maneuverability. So that's nice. As you can see, well, okay, the tail feathers got singed there. So we are successfully holding our own against a pair of flying squirrels. That's nice. And we've got camo, which is... it's how you can tell the build is nearing a close when I start thinking about aesthetics. At this point, I'm like, alright, this thing isn't great, but I do like the general direction it's headed, so let's prettify this. Let's prettify this, and then we can tweak it endlessly later. And by tweak it endlessly, I mean we're gonna friggin' redo the laser system a third time. I was tempted to record that as well, as kind of like, you know, an extra bit. But yeah, like, I just decided not to for reasons that I don't actually remember anymore. Presumably, past BorderWise had a plan. That guy always has a plan, and present BorderWise and future BorderWise, which is me and also me, we're never sure what that plan is. Also, I think that is my new favorite way to put deco around those things. And also, you gotta have a cockpit. Because where else will you put your pit? Yeah, that. Where will you put your armpits if not the cockpit? There's no other kind of joke you could possibly make there. And yes, it is a cockpit that you can barely see out of. And this is the actual trial by fire, is testing it against Steel Strider's jets. If you can out-dogfight those, you're probably in good shape. And we're not in good shape. As you can see, we just got AI deaded, because I was a complete dummy, and I, what did I do? I stuck the AI directly on heavy armor, which is not a smart thing to do whatsoever. Incidentally... oh no, ugh. I shouldn't have recorded today. I should have done something else. Also, by the way, this is one of the reasons I love building, planes out of alloy. They can get themselves out of the water without using balloons, which is, well, I say that. They can generally do that. Sometimes they need help. And, now we're gonna try and muck around with radar and heat decoys, just so it aims for a stupid part of the plane, or a not smart part of the plane, I guess. And, do-do, and do-do, do-do-do. And we're just going to check how much power we need. So, doing quick math in my head, how much power does the laser take, how much power is spare for the decoys, and it's about 300, so we'll have to see if that actually works right. And lots of surge protectors, can't believe I left those off. Ridiculously not smart. And just lots and lots of surge protectors, like so. And yeah, I think, is that all? No, that's not all. That's not all. There you go, BorderWise. There you go. Be smart, please. And now I'm just adding some an extra layer of alloy underneath the, what do we call it? Underneath the plane. That's it. That's what this thing is. It's a plane. Yeah, relying on armor for a jet fighter might not be the smartest idea. This thing did turn out much cheaper than I thought it would. And that's just, I don't know, I think it's just because it's flat. It's super flat, and we do much better this time. We get EMP'd just a little bit, and get scratched. And I'm not truly happy with its ability to take on a Falcon Squadron, but bear in mind, the Falcon Squadron, I think, actually is has a material advantage over this, considerably, so... Also, I'm messing around with behaviors now, just to get the thing to do what I want it to. By the way, if you're going to make a jet fighter of your own, it's probably a good idea to have lasers pointing both forward and backwards, precisely for this kind of situation where, like, you know, enemy fighter is on your tail, so to speak, and, yeah, so that's something I should really do. Because I've got two combiners which are being shared anyway, and I might as well point one of them backwards. It just occurred to me now, and really should do that. The problem with that is that, of course, it means I have to point a bunch of detection backwards as well. Which I guess is like, annoying, but, yeah. Mostly I'm just happy that, and it's mostly the breadboard, that is enabling this thing to just completely outmaneuver these guys and get them to crash into each other, which is quite funny. Like, the laser, as it turns out, is not the most powerful, destructive thing on this. It's just the fact that the From the Depths AI is kind of dumb and will fly into each other. And this is me trying to make the thing more maneuverable by putting banking turns in it, which really just seemed to get the thing to, you know... I mean, well, it managed to outdrive a falcon and cause it to fall into the water, which in hindsight is actually kind of impressive. And, it's me adjusting the behavior again. It's like, alright, fly over, disengage altitude, attack run altitude is like over the target, and let's try that again. Missiles missed, excellent, and now we're lasering the thing as it's in the water. That's how it works. And this is basically it. And what do I save this as? I save it as something. I save it as... LASF, laser-armed... what did I call it? Laser Air Superiority Fighter. And this is the point where I'm like... I think I look up the animal that this thing reminds me of, because, Sky Shrimp, yes, that's what I do. Yeah, wow, I did forget that. And that's just because the thing's face reminds me of a shrimp, and kind of its tail reminds me of a shrimp. So it's not very shrimpy, I have to admit. But yeah, that does it for this Let's Build video. I hope you enjoyed it. And rest assured, the next laser jet fighter I build, whenever that is, will hopefully be much better than this, because there's very good things about this build, but also not so great things as well. So if you build your own laser jet fighter, lasers forward and back, and make sure the lasers actually do damage. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon, or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps. And there's fun perks in it for you. Thank you to all my current supporters, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. Let's build. Sorry for coughing so much. Farewell.